The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the Prime Minister asks... Big one?
Order. Order.
All in good time, sunshine. All in good time.
Order. 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 I don't want that sort of interjection coming from my right when I call someone to ask a primary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
This question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Does he stand by his statement?
Supplementary question, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does he stand by his statement in regards to SkyCity? And I quote him, I would hate to see some sort of eyesore constructed downtown, end of quotes.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, and the good news is I don't think that'll be the case.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why did he choose to announce that taxpayer funds may be given to SkyCity on February the 10th, just one day before SkyCity announced their mid-year results?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what I did do is didn't take any options off the table because negotiations hadn't been completed. And I answered questions from, I think, at the initial instance, Corin Dan, the TV1's chief political reporter. I guess the difference between my career and his is I answer the questions and
order,
he doesn't.
Order. And that won't help the order of the House. Order.
Well, if that's the case...
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If that's the case, my question is, why did he say, I would hate to see some sort of eyesore constructed downtown and make that statement on the February the 10th and have full regard for the fact that he controls the press statements from his office, not the media itself, when this information was known on the 19th of December?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, because I would and because I was asked on February the 10th.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Has he seen the massive increase in the share price for SkyCity as a consequence of his precipitate, thoughtless comments? And what is he doing as Prime Minister as the epicentre for market manipulation?
Right Honourable Prime Minister, either of those supplementary questions.
Mr. Speaker, and answer the first part of the question, no.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
How many times has he met with SkyCity investors and management since they announced on 19 December that they would need more funds?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd need to check fully with my office to be absolutely 100% sure, but from memory, the only person I've seen from SkyCity that I can recall in that period of time from the 19th of December 2014 to today was Chris Moller, because I saw him in his capacity as head of the cricket.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Is it not a fact that a deal was struck with SkyCity weeks ago and well before he made his comments, and that part of that deal was to publicly keep all options open until after their mid-year results were announced in order to increase SkyCity's share price?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish it was true. A deal was done a few weeks ago. Would have saved me last week's little hassles.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does the Prime Minister not understand how the market would be influenced by comments from his office? And why did he make them, having regard to the fact that they were likely to boot the price up, as they did, by a massive $76 million?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, last week I was asked questions about whether would it be possible, in theory, for the taxpayer to make some contribution to SkyCity on the back of their requests. As I said at the time, I'm not taking anything off the table. In reality, a deal was agreed with SkyCity on Friday, confirmed by their board over the weekend. That's the sequence of events, and that's the way those things happen. Well, they do on that particular occasion when they need to get things settled down.
A point of order, Speaker.
Point of order, Right Honourable Winston
Mr.
Peters.
Speaker, I seek to table two documents prepared by FinData on the movement of this share price as a consequence of the Prime Minister's statements.
Order. Order. It's marginal whether I should even be putting the leave in that it's information that's available to the public, but for the benefit of the House, and it may be informative, I'll put the leave and leave. The House can decide. Leave us all to table those two documents. Is there any objection? There is none. They can be tabled. Point of order, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, what
you keep, I noticed this year, making exceptions to a rule that was pretty well established. Those documents are quite public. And the point had been made, I think, during the question time. So the support of it with a public document is not necessary, but the House is not going to decline someone tabling a public document. The purpose of having that come into effect as a sort of speaker's ruling was to stop taking the House's time over stuff that that is available to members.
Yeah. Order. And I appreciate the point the members made. Perhaps at the start of this year I'm being too generous with some members. I will have a look at it. But the Minister's quite right to point out information that's not generally available and will inform the House is the sort of information we expect to have tabled. But at the end of the day, when I put the leave, it's entirely over to any member of the House to object if they don't think the paper's going to be relevant. Question number... point of order, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker,
order. Again, this is now a point of order.
For good order, as I said to the House earlier in answer to Mr Peters, I'll need to check with my office absolutely about SkyCity people, but I do recall that Peter Tracy was at a function I was at about a week or so ago. I assume he'd be included as part of the management, but I'll get him a full list.
Order. Question number 2, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he have confidence in the Honourable Stephen Joyce, given his statement that SkyCity reducing the size of the convention centre by, quotes, around 10% would not cause the Crown too much concern, end quotes.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes I do. Stephen Joyce didn't want to put extra money in last week in the convention centre, but it looks like Andrew Little did on the radio.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Given the deal...
Order.
Given the deal lays out precisely detailed gambling concessions in return for a 3,500-seat convention centre, if the convention centre is smaller, will SkyCity's concessions also be reduced?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, I think what the deal does is lay out for a $402 million spend, and what we can see from SkyCity is they'll be spending at least $402 million and probably more.
It's going to be smaller.
Supplementary.
The House always wins.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, what has SkyCity given in return for being allowed to build a smaller convention centre, or is this just a gift from us to them?
Well,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, for start off, the plans haven't actually been approved by the government, but what the government has done is acknowledged that some of the points that SkyCity make are fair. There's been escalation in some of the costs, but overall, SkyCity have a very strong interest in building a world-class convention centre, despite actually what the member says that no one's interested in coming to New Zealand, which is an interesting position to take if you one day want to be Prime Minister. I'm pretty confident they actually will.
Okay. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Can he confirm that under the deal he's negotiated on our behalf, New Zealand taxpayers could now get a smaller convention centre for the same regulatory cost as before?
Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, the final convention centre actually has to be agreed by the government, and that's the purpose of them coming back. What the government has done is given SkyCity the changes in its legislation, which account for about $402 million of benefit in return for at least $402 million being sent. That's the salient point.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question. Order. Order.
Will he bring this new downgraded deal back to Parliament, given this House approved extra pokies and other concessions in exchange for a 3,500-seat convention centre, not a smaller one?
Mr Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime
the member
Minister.
needs to see what Parliament agreed to, which was a $402 million convention centre. We'll say also that SkyCity started with a plan at 33,000 square feet, moved it actually up to moved it up to 38,000 square metres. So let's see how it finally goes. But last week, from what I could see, the member seemed in favour of a free convention centre, actually in favour of putting in a few more million of taxpayers' money, and after all of that, thought nobody wants to come to New Zealand. Yeah, interesting response.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Which 10% of the convention centre is actually going to be cut? Is it the roof, one of the walls, the windows? What's going?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm absolutely confident that SkyCity will build a world-class convention centre, that many people will come and be part of world-class conventions there. But here's an interesting point. Labor members will be able to kick the tyres on this when they go and visit the SkyCity box to their rugby and entertainment, because we know they're going to sneak behind the bike sheds and do that like they always do.
Order. I don't think that answer will help the order out. Supplement. Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Why did he go around the country promising a free 3,500-seat convention centre when now he can't deliver it?
That's right.
Well, Mr Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
what I did go is round the country and promise that there would be a world-class convention centre provided without taxpayer support. And guess what? That's happening. What I didn't do was go on the radio last week and say, oh, we could toss in a few million. What I didn't do was go on the radio last week and say, no one wants to come to New Zealand. Mr Speaker, it's going to be a good deal for New Zealand. World-class convention centre, no taxpayer funds. Deal done by the National Government.